shot. Why not? Rambo's got it. Walks it in. Touchdown, Montreal. Cody Fajardo does it again.
The last time Chad Kelly faced Montreal in Toronto, it did not go well. He threw 4 picks in last year's Eastern Final. This is a big game for the Argos, who are right in the thick of the playoff race. While Cody Fajardo and the defending champs have been road warriors all season, the Owls haven't dropped a game away from home yet and can set the club record for most road wins in a single season with another one tonight. And with that, we welcome you here inside the TSN studio. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Laura Dyken. We've got Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, as well as Jim Barker. First game of our doubleheader. It was a big one as the Riders beat the Red Blacks. Huge implications when it comes to this game, because that means the Owls, without even stepping on the field, have locked up top spot in the East. So they essentially have nothing to play for here today, but the opposite is true for the Toronto Argos. They have everything to play for.
Absolutely, Laura. They're playing for all the marbles, for everything. And they need this win. They want to create separation with the Hamilton Tiger Cats and continue to move forward against the Ottawa Red Blacks as well. I'm looking to see what Chad Kelly will do and how he'll react. Of course, the last time he played this team at home, it was not the greatest. And so I want to see how they're going to fare out and how much their running game is going to be involved in this game.
Yeah, if you want to see where this Argos team stands amongst the best in the East, which is Montreal, we'll find out right now, because like you said, Laura, this is a team that's in Montreal that's not playing for anything. Argos aren't home, and still it's a huge game for them. They should have all the energy, and if you don't see that, Montreal is still able to hang around tonight. That would tell me a lot about these two teams and where they stand at this point in the season. The Argos have got to have this, at least for their psyche moving forward towards the end of the season in the East playoffs.
That Hamilton win last night made this a must-win for Toronto. The field is going to be a factor, I'm guessing. It was bad last week, and if the ball's wet, if it rains, we saw Chad Kelly in the rain against Ottawa, and it was not pretty. So again, if the weather could play a factor, game means nothing for one team, means everything for the other.
The Argos 3 points back of Ottawa for second, 2 points ahead of Hamilton, the surging Ticats in the division. And head coach Ryan Dinwiddie saying after that loss to Hamilton, we got to win some football games. Well, it's got to happen tonight. The Owls and the Argos set to kick off from BMO right after this.
Step into the action with CFL Game Zone. Play games, win prizes, and connect with fans from across the world. Join the ultimate CFL fan experience today at gamezone.cfl.ca.
Thank you, Laura. As you mentioned, the CFL continues this weekend to recognize the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. It's a wet night here in Toronto, down by the lake at BMO Field, raining here on the natural surface for the third meeting of the season between the Alouettes and the Argonauts. Each is one in the other's building, Dwayne. And yet for Montreal, their last road loss a long time ago was here over a year ago. A couple of days after that loss, they went out and they signed Darnell Sankey. He continues to be a big difference maker for the Owls.
Yeah, maybe proven to be especially a good luck charm on the road where they haven't lost since his acquisition. Sankey, obviously an impact player, part of arguably the best linebacking core in the Canadian Football League. He's the man in the middle. And then his counterpart for the Toronto Argonauts as well, one of the best in the business. The guy who brings the energy, brings the enthusiasm to that Toronto Argonauts defense. Winton McManus, back and healthy for the stretch run for the Argos.
Brian Dinwiddie, 3 straight years as a head coach in Toronto, all 3 finishing in first place, but not this year. That has been confirmed. In fact, they're still trying to get a playoff spot. Hamilton winning last night to close to within 2 points of that last playoff spot in the East. And Jason Moss leading the Alouettes, confirmed with the Ottawa loss earlier today to first place in the East. That's the first time for Montreal since 2012. So they know they will be hosting the Eastern Final. They have 4 games to go. There's Cody Fajardo warming up now. And we saw last week, Dwayne, in that Argos Ticats game, the slick field conditions on the natural grass at BMO Field. You wonder about the same with the rain pouring down.
Yeah, especially with it coming down so early. It's all about preparation. You know, guys were out early, checking out the conditions and so on. Hopefully making sure they've got the proper footwork. We saw last week in the Hamilton-Toronto game a number of players having to, whether it was adjusting their footwear, changing their tape jobs, their spat jobs on their shoes as the game went on. Hopefully everyone's prepared for the get-go from this one and they can just focus on playing football on both sides.
Montreal won the toss and they have deferred, so the Argos with Janarian Grant back, who will get the ball first. The previous 2 meetings, first it was here in week 4, the Alouettes won 30-20, and then 2 weeks later in Montreal, the Argos handed the Owls their first loss of the season, 38-17. We're underway at BMO Field off the foot of Jose Maltos. And it is Deontay McMahon with the ball across the 30, across the 40, and he is tackled there. Tyrell Richards, and Chad Kelly comes on. The Argos coming off a narrow loss in a walk-off to the Hamilton Tiger Cats last week. Kelly back.
Yeah, obviously looking to overcome that loss, and whether it's in Chad Kelly's mind or not, certainly in the minds of many other people around the CFL, how he's going to respond facing the Montreal Alouettes on this field, where he struggled mightily in the Eastern Final a year ago.
They were 16-2 going into that East Final. Handing off here, right side, and a good gain on first down. Kadeem Carey, 3rd leading rusher in the CFL. He has that close to midfield.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to watch what Kadeem Carey does here today on the ground against these Alouettes. We'll talk more about that as we go. Adjustments on the offensive line for Toronto. With Isaiah Cage out of the lineup, Ryan Hunter bumps out from left guard to left tackle, his first career start at tackle. In the receiving court, Dejon Brissett back in the lineup. He's been on the 6th game.
Handing off again. Kadeem Carey again. Once again, he just keeps pushing the pile down inside the 45, back-to-back. Solid runs by Kadeem Carey for another Argo first down.
Yeah, Argo's doing a terrific job moving the line of scrimmage here, and the feeling with Montreal is that they're a team that doesn't want to give up the big play. They may give you something on the ground. Well, the Argos are very much a run-first team. They've been among the top 3 rushing teams in the Canadian Football League all season. Relying on Kadeem Carey, they're looking to set the tone early with him, take advantage of maybe what Montreal is giving them.
They also have Deontay McMahon, who is the ball carrier here, and we did see this last week as they established the run against the Hamilton defense using all 3 of their running backs.
Yeah, we'll see Daniel Adeboboye as well. Take a look at the Montreal front. Antonio Moultrie gives them a little bit more size in that front 7, a bigger guy at about 280, playing that defensive end spot. Tyrese Beverette, arguably the most impactful player in the Canadian Football League this season. This guy makes a difference all over the field every time out. Marc-Antoine Duquois, huge interception, set the tone in the East Final round.
Running again, 4 straight running plays, 2 by Carey and now 2 by McMahon, and another rushing first down. And that's inside the 30 as they just keep grinding it out here at BMO.
Yeah, little question as to what the Argos game plan is coming into this one. Absolutely pound the rock, set the tone physically.
Kelly yet to throw a pass, keeping it on the ground. Another running play for the Argos. And that is Dan Adeboboye. So, yeah, just like a week ago when we thought they'd run a lot. Ultimately, they bailed in the running game later in the game. But we've seen all 3 of their running backs get some business.
Yeah, they absolutely started in similar fashion last week. But right here, first series of the ball game, 3 different running backs carrying the ball already. No pass.
Adeboboye, 3rd year out of Bryant, stays in the backfield. Final Finally a throw. That's complete. No, it isn't. David Unger had it in his hands, tried to turn around and dropped the football in that first passing attempt by Chad Kelly. And now, after that impressive drive, they're faced with a third down and a field goal situation.
Secondary to separate Dave Unger from the football.
Lirim Hajrullahu, 41 of 45 in the season. This one, a 32-yard try, a little closer to the right hash. For the opening points of the game, Hajrullahu sends it through. Argos started the game with the ball and marched it down, scored 3. So over to Cody Fajardo now. See what the Alouettes can do. Keep the road unbeaten streak intact.
Step into the action with CFL Game Zone. Play games, win prizes, and connect with fans from across the world. Join the ultimate CFL fan experience today at gamezone.cfl.ca.
This year, far and away, look at the dominance, Dwayne. 6-0-1, the one little blemish, a tie in Calgary a couple of weeks ago, but no other team in the league has a winning record on the road.
Yeah, remarkable. Nobody with more than 3 wins on the road. The Alouettes with twice that. That undefeated record. Just another impressive stat for the Montreal Alouettes since September of last year.
September 9th, to be exact, right here at BMO Field. Last time they lost on the road. Cody Fajardo. First play from scrimmage for Montreal. It's caught to by Keon Julian Grant coming back to the ball. And that pickup to spot the ball, leaving them with a second and short coming up here for Fajardo.
Well, Cody Fajardo, for whom it all started here in the Canadian Football League as a Toronto Argonaut. Stops along the way in BC and Saskatchewan before making his way to Montreal, where he last year became a Grey Cup champion.
That's the one they could never take away in Hamilton, but he's had some great moments here in Toronto, too, with the Argos and against them. Dominic Davis in short yardage. Loses the ball, but the whistle blows with the snap of the football, and that just squirted loose. We do wonder about ball control on a day like today. Slick conditions, but fortunately for the Alouettes.
Montreal, number 48. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
There's a penalty the Alouettes may not mind taking given the circumstances at the start of that play.
Yeah, saved them.
So no longer short yardage for Dominic Davis. It's a second down and a little over 5 yards coming up. Here's what happened on that play. Second and 6 now. Fajardo back in. Low snap, tossed inside. That play's going.
Well, we so often say that turnovers are the statistic that is the most accurate predictor of the outcome of football games. An early one here for the Toronto Argonauts, a demonstration of why. Deontay Ruffin with the pick to get things started. Where have we seen this before? Well, just a week ago, Ruffin, 79-yard interception return touchdown in the win against Ottawa last week.
That gave the Owls the early lead. They never looked back, beating Ottawa on the road. Here on the road in Toronto, Walter Fletcher with the touchdown after that pick. Number 5 in the season for Deontay Ruffin. We nearly had one here, by the way, right just before they basically went into victory formation. I mean,
let's try and really catch Toronto off guard, continue the momentum. And you just wonder, again, if the slickness really, in my opinion, remaining committed to that run game. Because a lot of what Montreal's premise is, and the first series sums it up, is that not every run's going to go for more than 5 or 6 yards.
Handing off, this time it's Deontay McMahon in, and he is a good pickup. Cuts it back to the right, has the first down, has it down to about the 32 of the Owls. So yeah, that's the one thing really going well for the Argos as they trail in this game is how well they've been running the football, and not just with one running back.
Yeah, and they've got to keep running it. As we'll take a look here at the cutback from Deontay McMahon. He's going to start off to the left. You see the the whole offensive line flow going that way. Montreal over pursues. McMahon takes advantage and cuts it back. You think on the first series, they have success running the football on all those plays, but as soon as they get into second and long.
And now it's Dan Adeboboye, so using all three again in the drive, although this time he's met with a wall right up front. Derek 3 again.
Yeah, and so you get into second and long, and that's Montreal's premise, but on the run. But eventually you're going to find yourself in a second and long situation, have to throw the football, and they feel like they're going to stop you in those situations. They're going to make plays on you.
Here we go in a second and long. Just around the 30. Kelly. Down to an open receiver inside the 10. It is caught. It's Tavares Daniels, who had a big game last week, losing narrowly to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but Daniels has it, and it's a first and goal coming up here for Toronto.
Big play on second and long here. Keeps his poise, shows some patience. Tavares Daniels slips in behind the linebackers in front of the DBs. Kelly finds them.
And Mackay Polk gets that as they run tempo. They go quickly, and Polk has it, takes it down just inside the 5. It'll be a second and goal coming up. Polk's had touchdowns in back-to-back games last week, and then at BC Place before that. And for Daniels last week, 4 catches for 118 yards, including a 66-yarder that led to an Argo touchdown and the lead at the time over the Ticats. Adeboboye cuts it right back to the left, and they blow the whistle. He was down. Tried to keep his feet. Tyrese Beverett, players in the Canadian Football League, Beverett and Sankey.
We'll take a look here. Adeboboye still didn't seem convinced that he was down. He felt that he kept the knees off the ground there when he got his left hand down. We'll take a closer look right here. That looked like the left knee hit.
Third and goal. Argos are going for it. Or are they? Just trying to draw him offside. Waiting for the snap of the ball, and yet to come. Play clock down to 5 seconds. And Kelly tries again. Dejan Brissett has the ball. First touch for Brissett since week 3 against Edmonton. That was back in late June. He got hurt in that game, a knee injury, and this is his first game back.
Yeah, Brissett had a career high start after being the second overall pick in the draft back in 2020.
So you got some of the yardage back. 7 of it. It's still second and long with 13 to go from the Toronto 19. A 7-6 game. Montreal. Kelly has time. Duquois chasing him. Tries to stiff arm him, and he's ultimately taken down inside the Montreal 15. Well, another trademark of Kelly and the Argo offense, the ability to make big plays, and they certainly made one there.
Yeah, and absolutely huge against a Montreal defense. I mean, this is the thing that they are built not to give up. The Argos make him pay. Mackay Polk working out of the slot. Finds the seam between the halfback Ruffin just to the left side of your screen. And gets in behind, and Kelly. Deep ball was his calling card last year. Lays it on Polk perfectly there.
Pickup of 76 yards. Kelly to Mackay Polk. So here come the Argos, down 1 in the red zone, but Kelly is taken down just outside the red zone. Jeffrey Cantaracu among the Alouettes there. What a great season for this rookie linebacker. High draft pick from Montreal to take Kelly down.
Yeah, things a little slow to develop there in terms of the pattern. Chad Kelly didn't have anywhere to go with the football.
Here we go, base.
And the Alouette defense gets there. Cantaracu just snugged up into the line. 2 blockers for 3 rushers on that right side.
So second down and 17 all of a sudden. Kelly on the run again. Pointing, looking, end zone, deep. It's caught, but it's outside the back of the end zone. Tommy Neal had it, but had gone too far. And that was the last play of the first quarter, with the Argos once again in field goal position. They'll start the second looking to take the lead over the Alouettes, who cashed in on the interception by Deontay Ruffin and a touchdown for Walter Fletcher.
Everyone has different backgrounds, and I think that is very important that all backgrounds get represented.
Being somebody who represents diversity, I love to see it when we're giving those people opportunities and allowing them to grow.
It's getting to know people who have different point of view, your own perspective, your own point of view, and then what you can bring.
You get a lot of support, a lot of friendships, a lot of amazing memories.
It's something that I would do 100 times over.
Ball game. As mentioned, the Alouettes knew before this game started, I assume they knew, that they clinched first in the East Division with Ottawa losing in Saskatchewan. And so here, Montreal will line up for a field goal. This one inside the 30. John Haggerty to put it down at about the 28. But yes, the Alouettes know they've got first. So now Jason Moss, as Montreal puts it through, technically, if you count this game, Dwayne, that's 4 games to go when they know they have first wrapped up. Ryan Dinwiddie last year found out with about 6 games to go, a third of the season. Challenges for a head coach.
Yeah, it certainly does. It's always the rest versus rust debate. We talk about it every year when the first place team has the bye, especially these situations. So when a team does clinch a little bit early prior to the end of the season, and you've got to find that balance. And I think it's going to be interesting to watch with Jason Moss, because he's a guy who is so much about a culture of competition around his team, that Fajardo's great completion percentages, he has had guys like Julian Grant, Tyson Philpott, another one obviously on the injured list now, but has been a big part of this offense that can make plays, make people miss after that catch.
Dominic Davis, ball comes out, and it belongs to the Argos. It was a short yardage try for the Alouettes, and more evidence of the slick conditions. We saw one squirt away from Davis earlier. They were saved by a penalty, but this time Benji Franklin coming in just couldn't find the handle on this ball.
Yeah, just didn't get it cleanly. Pops out to Davis's right. Benji Franklin coming off the edge for the Argos. Gets himself a gift.
Scoreboard, and the Argos will try to do with the 12-7. Argos leading the Owls. Let's go back to Matthew Shinetti for more on the recognition of the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation.
Rod, it's my pleasure to be joined by Emily Kirgishik from Saugeen First Nation, an Anishinaabe artist who designed the Argos logo that's on their helmets today. Emily, when I was looking into the design, you speak some. What do you want to express through this logo?
I want to express that we're all connected in one way or another, and the only way forward is together.
In terms of being together, when we're on this path of truth and reconciliation, truth is important, and it comes first. What does it mean to you to know that this symbol is on the helmet of the oldest professional football team in the world, and what does it mean about getting maybe just a little step closer to that truth?
It's very meaningful because this is true, authentic Indigenous storytelling and representation. This is something that we've needed for a long time. I never saw myself that through my art is very meaningful. And it is a good step forward for truth and reconciliation because we brought so many people here together. I've brought so many people from my community and other communities across Ontario, and people are tuning in across the country. And so for them to see the logo, I think it's awesome. Yeah.
Emily, thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matthew and Emily. And more running here for the Argos, who are running the ball at about a rate of 2-to-1 compared to how much they're passing it right now.
Yeah, and again, it's about knowing your opponent and feeling that this is their greatest advantage against an Alouettes defense that makes so many plays against the pass. And I mean, not to suggest that they don't against the run, but it's guarding against those big plays. You've got to try and soften them up with the run if you're going to throw over the top.
Faking the run, throwing it out to Deontay McMahon, who has to turn with this. What a play by McMahon as he gets some blocking. Montreal, and a flag coming out late as he's taken down. But talk about making something out of nothing, as they had everything.
And this is the thing that the Toronto Argonauts loved about
mask on the tally, first down.
Deontay McMahon when they brought him in last season. This playmaking ability, a little jitterbug in the backfield. And that ability to make people
Face mask
miss.
is on 37 Montreal, 37.
So they call Wesley Sutton taking McMahon out on a face mask call. It gets down to just outside the 20 now, and that big pickup by Deontay McMahon. A 1st and 10 for the Argos, up by 5. And offense has been on the field an awful lot in this first half. Dan Adeboboye, the ball carrier, to pick up a couple there. 2nd and long coming up here for the Argos. Still without a touchdown in this game.
Just take a look back at the tail end of the Deontay McMahon run. Wesley Sutton finally tracks him down, but you saw the left hand catch the face mask.
Adeboboye, the running back now for Toronto. Stays into block. Flag comes out. And the intended receiver is Coxie, and Sutton is right there, but a flag out just as Kelly was getting rid of the ball. The referee, Tim Croker, tonight.
Offside, Montreal number 26. 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Brett on that offside. 5 yards up, and it's a 2nd and short now. Second and 3. Montreal 14. Adeboboye. He breaks through. Down to the 5, and a 1st and goal coming up again for the Argos.
This Toronto Argonauts offensive line. Getting the job done. Peter Nicastro at center. 2 new guards. We've talked about Dylan Giffen on the left. Rookie Anthony Vandal out of Sherbrooke has started the last number of games at right guard.
Kelly hands off. Kadeem Carey. 3-2-1 touchdown. Helmets off again, but he's celebrating the first TD of the game for the Toronto Argonauts. And touchdown number 6 on the ground for Kadeem Carey.
As we talked about, committing to the ground game. Going to keep running that rock until Montreal forces them to do something different. And they're wearing out the Alouettes at the line of scrimmage.
The payoff with all that running that they've done. Carey 9 runs for 80 yards and that touchdown. And a 7-play 90-yard drive in just over 3 minutes with Hyra Lau to convert the Argos' first touchdown of the night. They open up their lead to 9 along the way. Now, for Jason Mott shaking his head, aside from the interception by Ruffin leading to the touchdown, this has been thoroughly dominant by the Argos in this game, statistically anyway, and 12 points up on the board.
Yeah, I mean, everybody comes in with a game plan. They can't all work out perfectly. Right now, it's the Argos game plan working very effectively, particularly when you talk about offense.
Among the stats that are really one-sided is the running game. The Alouettes run there, but they haven't had much success with it. Before that play, the difference in rushing yards was 155 to 3 in favor.
And again, it's that combination between how Toronto is is moving the ball offensively, and you talk about the run game, the physicality, etc., but also the fact that they have been on the field so much and kept Montreal's defense on the field.
Something going here as it floats. A flag comes out as Fajardo got rid of it, intending it there for Cole Speaker, and it heads out of bounds. That was on a 2nd and long, so pending the flag, we could have a 3rd down coming up here against the Owls.
Holding Montreal number 65.
The Alouettes, as mentioned, found out before the game they have wrapped up first place in the East Division for their outstanding season. So this game and the remaining 3, they know that they're hosting the East Final, and they know that they'll be going against the Argos.
Great ball, Cody.
Toronto number 48. That 15-yard penalty will be applied on the kickoff. Touchdown is good.
A couple of big catches that move the Owls down quickly. That's his 7th touchdown of the season.
Yeah, McManus was flagged. You see him come in a little bit late, but not before Cody Fajardo, whose ability to throw the deep ball has often been questioned over his career. I'll tell you, that one was right on the money.
Just a beautiful pass by Cody Fajardo. Touchdown pass for him on the season is number 14. And number 17 there. Speakers mentioned 7th touchdown, and this one gets Montreal right back in this game before halftime.
Yeah, and you caught a little pump fake there. Fake hitch from Cody Fajardo. Benji Franklin thinks that Cole Speaker's coming to block him. He settles, getting ready to take on the block. Meanwhile, Speaker runs in behind him. Nice execution on the play from the Alouettes. Here it is from Fajardo's end. You just got the tail end of that hitch, that pump fake. You'll see Winton McManus coming from depth here. Continues late. You see him follow through and drill Cody Fajardo. But not before the damage is done. Great response for the Alouettes on that drive after being really dominated through 28 minutes.
Well, they really have, and they say statistically where it matters least, except for the scoreboard, of course, and on that, they're back to within 5 points, back to within a score. Even though, as mentioned, the Argos have had the ball for much of this first half. And they've had times, too, where they took some points off the board when they had goal to go, got down to the 3, ended up kicking a long kick. And to take a knee is Denarian Grant. Another point on the board. 4-point game now, 1:37 to go. Maltos with the kick for the single. And Kelly coming back on now. The game that is much more important for the Toronto Argonauts right now as it stands than it is for the Alouettes, who've clinched first place, and the Argos at 7-7. 3 points behind the Ottawa Red Blacks, who lost in Saskatchewan, only 2 points ahead of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who are really on a roll. They've won the season series over the Argos. They've won 4 straight, and they're not out of it yet. They host Winnipeg next week. They had another dramatic win. BC Place last night. It's Kadeem Carey. He's had a terrific first half. On the receiving end there as he's pushed out of bounds, largely for his running, where he has 80 yards.
Yeah, they kind of sneak Kadeem Carey out the backside into the flat on this one. He'll be coming right at you. Alouettes kind of late to pick him up.
4-point Argo lead. A minute and a half to go until the half. Isaac Yemi nearly had Kelly, who throws it away. Rolled out to the right and just gets rid of it. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, you can see where the pressure comes from here as the tackle. Allen is going to widen. 3 rushers coming on that right side, including the linebacker Cosby looping to the inside. He's the one that forces Kelly from the pocket. Wise decision by the Argo quarterback to airmail that one.
2nd down. Pressure coming, gets rid of it. Caught. And Daniels has it at about the 50 as far as he got. It'll be 3rd down coming up. And the Alouettes will still have a little bit of time left before the end of the half. Laura Dyken, Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Jim Barker.
Are you as surprised as I am that Laura keeps letting Kate talk her into babysitting these guys?
Well, you know, Kate needs a break from them every now and then. You know, I can understand that. And LD's doing a terrific job with it as well.
Yes, she is.
John Haggerty, second in the CFL in net bunting average. James Fletcher. Oh, he manages to find some room down the sideline. Fletcher's still going. Picks up a block. He is gone. Touchdown, Alouettes. Fletcher does it again. Byron Archambault, special teams coordinator, chest bumps for everybody there. Just like last November, when the Argos had momentum, it was Fletcher on a kickoff that time to take it away, this time on a punt return.
Yeah, and you get it where you want it. Haggerty puts it outside the numbers, but Fletcher somehow able to get to the sideline, and then it's just a straight sprint from there. Off to the race.
Touchdown of the season for James Fletcher, who really burst on the scene late last year after the injury to Chandler Worthy. His other touchdown this year was on a missed field goal in Saskatchewan.
It does nothing to help Montreal's time of possession, but it sure helps them on the scoreboard as they take the lead.
Incredibly, the Alouettes look like they'll be heading to halftime leading it. They got a 3-point lead right now, outplayed through much of the first half, but some big plays on offense, and then the big return by Fletcher.
Yeah, again, well-placed kick between the numbers and the sideline, but that one little move to escape, little lateral skip to the sideline where he finds a lane. When he took over as Montreal's return man. Remember, it was all about Javon Leake in Toronto the first half of the year, but it was Fletcher in the second half.
Well, you talk about complementary football, offense, defense, special teams. Even though the stats, for what they're worth, favor Toronto in this game, they got a big series from their offense just moments ago and a couple of big plays to Cole Speaker and passes by Cody Fajardo. They had the big defensive play often to set up the touchdown, and then special teams.
Yeah, both getting it done. Offense perking up in between with a couple of big plays to Cole Speaker to find the end zone. But all three phases definitely contributed to 22 Montreal points in this first half.
Deontay McMahon on the return up across the 40. Bear in mind, the Alouettes, we showed you earlier, have that impressive road unbeaten streak. They're 6-0-1 this season. No other team in the CFL is even at 500. Every other team is a losing record on the road. And the Alouettes haven't lost on the road yet. They haven't lost on the road since here at BMO Field on September 9th, 2023, over a year ago. And that was shortly after they lost to the Argos one more time the next week, and then Fajardo and the Alouettes went on a run. Won their next 8 straight, including 3 playoff games and that Grey Cup victory over Winnipeg. Here's Kelly. Deep, late in the half for Coxie, and falls incomplete. 23 seconds on the clock. And for all the Argos have done or seem to be doing, at least in terms of moving the football.
Yeah, the way that the first half of this game has gone, as we've said, far more consistent than Montreal offensively, dominating the time of possession, but a couple of big plays for Montreal. One in each of the 3 phases of the game, really. One on offense, one on defense, one on special teams, all leading to majors.
2nd and 10. Kelly tries to dump it off, and he does nicely to Coxie. Makes something out of this. Coxie, well, at least gets it down into field goal range with 12 seconds on the clock, and Kelly alertly able, when he looked like he was facing the sack, get rid of it.
Yeah, fantastic effort here by both quarterback and receiver. Coxie's the outlet. Montreal is sitting so far back because they just don't want to give up a big one right at the end of the half. But nice effort by Coxie after the catch.
And Kelly's looking deep. Down the rail on the right, and the coverage is good. He was looking for Coxie again. 3 seconds, so Hiralau is going to have to come out and see if they can tie this game at the half. We're at the 42.
Yeah, I watched Lirim pretty closely in pre-game, and he was hitting some from midfield. No question, it's within his range.
He said he's 4 for 4 on the night, so making him 45 of 49 in the season. His longest is 51, and this one would be just shy of 50, but 49 were Haggerty to put it down. Would allow the Argos to salvage something with this late first half resurgence by the Alouettes to at least go into the dressing room tied up. Last play of the half. Hiralau, who's 5 for 5 in that first half. 22-22. Interesting first 30 minutes, ultimately, the way it all played out.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And I'm curious, given the trend, you and I talked about it a little bit during the week. 3 games this year Montreal hasn't won, 2 losses and a tie. In all of those games, they trailed after each of the first 3 quarters. Interesting in this one, they were ahead after the first quarter, went behind after the first play of the second quarter, a field goal, tied at halftime. Be fascinating to see how it plays out for a Montreal team that, you know, typically has struggled when they haven't been able to get ahead. They haven't really been able to get ahead in this one.
Well, in this early on, the Argos established the ground game, especially Kadeem Carey, 9 carries for 80 yards and a touchdown, and Carey standing by with Matthew Genetti.
Well, Kadeem, I had to sprint from the other side of the field thanks to Lirim Hiralau, but you've been running all night. I imagine with the field the way it is, though, you must have loved knowing you were going to get the rock a lot.
Oh, man, going into this game, seeing them sprinkle and seeing that rain come, field wet, I said it was my time to shine, and I'm ready to tote that thing.
So knowing that you guys are really, I think you guys are triple digits above the Alouettes in terms of running the ball right now, are you going to go in the locker room and kind of talk to Ryan Dinwiddie about what you're seeing in gaps, or are you just going to tell him, keep giving me the ball?
Just keep giving me the ball. The gaps are there. The O-line is giving a push. Hey, and then let me do the rest, man. It's going to be a good game. They fought back to tie the game up. We just got to keep toting it and get those explosive plays over the top to finish them.
See you in the second half.
Hey, let's do it.
Well, Laura, we've got a game here. Argos and Alouettes tied at 22.
Little bit of a dogfight at BMO Field, and I know said we wouldn't have fun. We're going to have fun in this halftime for sure. And what a first half it was. I mean, the Argos just dominated that 28-plus minutes, and then boom, all of a sudden now it's a tie game.
Absolutely. It was the last 2 minutes of the first half. They actually started really well, the Alouettes did. They started the game really strong with the first interception by Ruffins, exactly what he did the previous game, and then at the end of the half, that's when Cody Fajardo and that offense started to wake up. Finding Cole Speaker ended up in the half with 74 yards, and they started to wake up. This is not what you want to see for the Toronto Argonauts, because now the Montreal Alouettes are getting the momentum back. Here you see the Letcher return. When you look at the Montreal Alouettes and when they lost earlier in the season to the Toronto Argonauts, this is exactly what happened. It was a special teams touchdown by Janarian Grant, a defensive touchdown by Wynn McManus, and it looks like the Montreal Alouettes are doing exactly that to the Toronto Argonauts as well.
You know, it's interesting because this game, they've had the ball. That's going to pay off for them in the fourth quarter. They're running the ball because Montreal, if you notice, they've put 4 guys in the box. They've got a couple guys coming from the outside, but when you do that, this is the Noel Thorpe, Chris Jones, it comes from Don. Bring them from the outside in to play the run. Well, here you see 3 guys from tackle to tackle. And again, you're going to find seams, and you put a lot of pressure on those guys coming from the outside to make plays. Same thing here, 3 guys in the box, and he goes untouched for, a good 15-yard gain. So 9 carries, 80 yards for Carey. McMahon, 4 carries for 61. Attaboy, Danny Attaboy, I call him Attaboy, had 14 yards. So they're running the ball. They're able to get first downs, 15 first downs to 5. That's going to pay off for them in the second half if they continue to try to run the ball.
They give up way too many big plays, Toronto does, on defense. I mean, it's got to drive their defensive staff crazy. They're going to need to run the ball because it looked like as soon as Cody went up-tempo, no huddle at the end of the half, they scored and did whatever they wanted to do. And notice that Chad looks like the Raider. You talked about it, Jim, and mentioned it. It looks like the ball slipping out of Chad's hand a bit on the quick game, so in the quick throws. So I think quick game is going to be difficult if the weather conditions continue. Didn't look like there's any problems on this ball, though. He got into this one, deep ball, caught Dequoy flat-footed. But it was noticeable that when they went up-tempo, Montreal at the end of the half, they were getting whatever they wanted. I said it. As soon as they started going up-tempo, I said, Montreal is going to win this game because they really, against that secondary, they could do whatever they want to do. I don't know what Toronto's going to do and how they're going to adjust in the second half, but it does not look good for that Montreal defense.
And the Argos left some points on the board there. Polk had that huge reception, and then there was the fumble recovery, and they settled for field goals as opposed to touchdowns. And that adds up to a 22-22 tie at the half. But yes, the Argos running all over the place today at BMO.
Saying I'm an angel, baby, if you can't tell, no, I ain't take you home with mama tight. And I ain't saying he's a bad guy, all I know is that guy must have up and lost his mind tonight.
Well, all weekend long, the CFL has been recognizing Monday's National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And recently, our very own Enoch Mwamba joined members of the Toronto Argos, Tavares Daniels, Wynton McManus, and Peter Nicastro for a tour of the Mohawk Institute Residential School, now known as the Woodland Cultural Centre in Brantford, Ontario. The school, which operated from 1831 to 1970, was established on 350 acres of farmland, all of which was or had been part of the Six Nations Reserve at some point. Now, many former students describe suffering physical, sexual, and emotional abuse at the school, with enrollment ranging from 90 to 200 students per year.
They would take their clothing and make them wear uniforms. That's why the orange shirt ended up happening, was not a survivor from here, but a survivor from another residential school, Phyllis. She had an orange shirt that was made by her grandmother and was taken from her. And so it was Phyllis that started the whole reason all of us are wearing orange shirts now on September 30th was because of that experience she had.
So Enoch, what was that experience like for you?
I mean, it was absolutely eye-opening. Laura, I got a chance to visit Mohawk Institute, the residential school, with a few of my former teammates as well. And, you know, all of us learned so much about the truth and reconciliation. And you know, we got a chance to see the resilience of the Indigenous community, what they went through and how they are able to kind of, you know, overcome what they went through, but also the barriers to go through where, you know, where they're headed right now. Then a lot of the barriers have to do with the mental health and how they're going to recover, and just to see them and that community continue to thrive and continue to kind of just share their stories and their story with the rest of the country. It's amazing. And I truly believe, like, and what all of us were saying is that it's amazing that not just the TSN, but the CFL is doing a great job of utilizing that platform to kind of highlight these artists.
All about education and more powerful moments like that. And if you are interested in learning a little bit more, getting a closer look at the tour and an extended view of it, you can keep an eye out for the 4th episode of Toronto Argos Pull Together, which will be available on the team's YouTube page this coming Wednesday, October the 2nd. The second half from BMO Field in this tie game is coming up next.
Presents the next chapter in the Batman saga, starring Academy Award original limited series, is streaming now, and it is only on Crave. Rod Smith, Wayne Ford, Matthew Shinetti back here at BMO Field in Toronto. It's the final game of Week 17. It's getting late. Just 4 more weeks of football after this. And then we start thinking of the playoffs. And the Alouettes can look ahead to hosting the Eastern Final. Of course, a lot of games they have to play before then, but they have wrapped up first. The Argos still with a lot undecided coming into this game at 7-7. We get a tie game early second half. Montreal ball now. Handing off, trying to get the running game going. That's Walter Fletcher, who had the first touchdown. Carries that one and gets it across midfield.
Interesting to see Montreal on this run play line up in a tight end formation. They get the fullback lined up on this side. And watch what he does in terms of the blocking scheme. Not taking anybody on, but Dallaire showing block and taking off up the seam. We'll see if that turns into a pass play to him a little later.
Stop taking the handoff. Fajardo keeps it. First down. He slides inside the 45. And the Alouettes running the ball. That was the biggest discrepancy of all the stats in the first half. Even now, coming into that play, 155-14 for the Argos, who would run the ball a lot in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely pounding the ball, and I think they had a pretty good formula in terms of competing with Montreal. And again, you're looking at the top team in the league, unbeaten on the road. Argos had them tied at halftime. Felt like they should have been ahead, but they got to be happy to be playing them even.
And the Alouettes, the 9th out of 9 teams in rushing yards per game, make it 3 straight running plays. Walter Fletcher again. It'll set up a second and short here for Montreal.
And a little misleading, right? When often you think of a team with a record like Montreal's and you think, yeah, they're going to pile up rushing yards at the end of games. But they have such a high percentage passing attack that sort of replaces a lot of their run game.
And of course, that's something they had to think about on the roster when they let Williams step for it. And so Jose Maltos has been admirable in the way he's filled in for David Cote early in the season. The highest field goal percentage in the CFL right now coming into this game. He'd only missed 2, 26-28 with the longest of 53. This one to put down inside the 45 for Maltos, but it's heading left. Just his 3rd miss of the season as Janarian Grant quickly takes a knee and relinquishes the lead for the Argos by the Rouge. Montreal in front again, 23-22. As we've shown you over the last couple of days, the CFL has been very involved in the recognition of the National Day for Truth and Recognition and Orange Shirt Day, intended to raise awareness to promote the concept of every child matters. And something that's been very important to the Canadian Football League. The official day for Truth and Reconciliation is on Monday, but we saw this in Winnipeg last night, at BC Place and Mosaic Stadium, and here today at BMO Field. Lots of orange shirts here in the crowd watching this game today. And Toronto has the football, and Kadeem Carey mentioned as a very busy time that, well, we saw a helmet go off and it was easy to assume it was his because it's happened twice. It wasn't that time. It was Dejon Allen, the big right tackle for the Argos. The 2nd and 7, and the Argos on that single, now trailing again by 1, swinging it out. Here's Carey, got some space, a lot of momentum too. He ventures into the Owl zone inside the 50. He's got it down to around the 47. First down, Toronto.
Take a look at it, all the open space out to the left. Kadeem Carey's in the backfield. He's going to release, but you're just going to see a ton of open space as the Alouettes drop off. Nobody can really account for Carey. Nobody is within 15 yards of him, 20 yards of him when he catches that football.
He had some space, got up ahead of steam, down to the 47, first down, taking the handoff to Carey. Kelly buys himself some time, completes it to a wide open DeMonte Coxie for another first down. Inside the 30, a pickup of 20 more yards for Toronto.
A nice route on the outside with Coxie, kind of a comeback along that sideline. Push the defense deep. Work back towards the ball on that sideline. Nice throw from Kelly as well.
From the 29, caught again. Mackay Polk right near another first down. Depending on where he stepped out of bounds, looked like it was just shy of the marker. So a second and short coming up here for the Boatmen. Noel Thorpe, defensive coordinator of the Alouettes, and certainly remembered for the performance of that defense, certainly in the Grey Cup, but also mainly here at BMO Field last year, that Eastern Final, one of the more dominant performances we've seen in a long time by a defense. Darnell Sankey was a big part of that last November. He had one of the interceptions.
Yeah, some tweaks to that defensive lineup through the season. The acquisitions of Sankey and Sean Lemon. Walt Uguak becoming a starter. Reggie Stubblefield becoming a starter.
And he takes off. And he slides down at the 5. And has another first down. First and goal coming up. Wanted to throw. A little pump fake and then couldn't find a receiver and does it himself.
I'll tell you my favorite part of this play from an Argo perspective is when Chad Kelly starts rolling to his right. You think about that game against Toronto last week and he throws the ball back into the middle. He's trying to force something, trying to make something to happen. Here he thinks better of it, uses it's a bad idea to throw that ball, holds onto it, makes a much better decision with it, turning it into a positive play.
Here we go, first and goal of the Montreal 6, the toss to Deontay McMahon. Into the 5, touchdown Toronto. McMahon finds the end zone, and the Argos are back on top.
Well, we talked earlier in this ballgame about the quickness, the elusiveness of Deontay McMahon. We saw his speed. Ballgame turned it into a big gainer, but here, just flat out outrunning the corner of that end zone for the Argos. Touchdown.
He made his debut in the CFL in Montreal against the Alouettes last year, mid-season. And this year he has his 3rd rushing touchdown. Deontay McMahon, one of 3 running backs consistently used by the Argos, certainly over the last couple of weeks. And they go for 2, up by 5 now. Kelly to the right, knocked away nicely by Bryce Cosby. Cosby got a hand up and prevented any more points for the Argos there. So back to a 5-point lead on the McMahon touchdown. Close game at BMO Field. And a big one, too, for the Argonauts.
This program is extremely important to give women an opportunity to get their foot in the door.
I absolutely would never have had an opportunity like this had the program not been available.
Camp has provided me with a lot of hands-on exposure that I didn't think I would get.
There's nothing really like that feeling when you get goosebumps after a game-winning play. So I wanted to have a career where I could help make
a difference that we might not have otherwise been given, which is amazing.
Cole Speaker, 3rd year out of Wisconsin lacrosse. Division III school. Inside the Argo zone. Near side of midfield, Fajardo. McManus had him and then Metier to finish it off.
Keep an eye on Winton McManus, number 48, the Toronto Argonauts middle linebacker. Just tracking the quarterback, stepping up to meet him in the hole. Talk about strength up the middle, and McManus and Metier, the free safety.
So Fajardo gets a yard on that carry. It's a 2nd and 9. Alouettes trying to answer back after the Argo touchdown. Running out of time, taking off again. Fajardo running, gets down to about the 46, 47 yard line. And not enough for a first down. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, interesting to see Montreal's not going to go with their short yardage unit, and I know it's solid yard and a half, 2 yards they need here anyway, but think about the struggles handling the ball their short yardage unit had in the first half.
It's about 1.5 yards they need. Going for it on third down and throwing. And knocked away. The coverage was there. Mark Milton on Reggie White. And a good defensive play by Milton, getting back in the lineup at the start at boundary half. And celebrating that and a turnover on downs. They were in the Argos zone. It was third and a couple of yards. As you mentioned, no short yardage setup. Throwing and third quarter. Says hello there to Kadeem Carey.
Well, he may have just given the yardage back with the celebration. Fantastic defensive play by Johnson. Watch for Mustafa Johnson lined up.
10-yard misconduct foul against Montreal number 94. After the play, it's second down, 10 yards up.
Quick swim to the inside on Van Daal. Meets Kadeem Carey in the backfield, but it was the celebration taunting after making that terrific defensive play.
Doing the flex and going up right in front of Carey. That earns him a misconduct foul for taunting, 10 yards. And you can just guess what Jason Moss thinks of that. Not liking that call against the Alouettes. Second down. Flags out again.
Procedure. Toronto number 58. 5-yard penalty, Ripken down.
And Anthony Van Daal. It's been a terrific story for the Toronto Argonauts this season. 8th round pick, the 72nd overall pick in the draft last year. A year later, here he is starting.
Still second and 19 though. Argos, Kelly completes that to Carey underneath. And Sankey and Beverett combined to take him down across the 50, but still third down and a good 3-4 yards to go as the punting unit will come on for Toronto.
Well, Montreal able to overcome that penalty to get the stop. And Toronto will again put the ball in the hands of James Letcher.
That Letcher touchdown, 100 yards late in the half. Showed his game-breaking ability again. One of the leaders in combined yardage in the CFL, along with Janarian Grant. And Haggerty has been one of the best in the business, too. And he put it, that one on the touchdown, where he wanted to, this time a little bit more to the right, but towards the middle of the field. And so here's Letcher again, and he's hit hard and taken down right away. Good coverage there by the Argos. Down close to the 10-yard line. So
good to see Kerfola Exume has recovered well enough to completely disrupt that return. And if I can't make the tackle myself, I'll just push this blocker into you. Great job by Exume.
Who was injured down in the field earlier, but as you can see, he is just fine. Former Montreal Cataban.
That's another guy, another 8th round pick, 70th overall by Winnipeg back in 2019. Made his way onto the roster as a special teamer and has continued to be one of the best cover guys in the league ever since.
At the 12, 1st and 10. Montreal down 5 deep, look down the right. Coverage is there and nearly intercepted by Tavares McFadden on Keon Julian Grant. It was McFadden who had the best shot at it, but just couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, Cody Fajardo is just going to load up and take a shot here. Putting his money on Keon Julian Grant to make a play. But McFadden gets in position here. Grant essentially has to wrestle it away from the defender.
Crowd picks up at BMO. Pressure coming on Fajardo in 2nd and 10. Into double.
Still a possibility.
Well, Ottawa had been 8-3-1, but 3 straight losses after they beat the Argos soundly. And they're 8-6-1, and they're still looking to wrap up a playoff spot. Fletcher running over. That one heads out of bounds. Flag comes out because it can't go out of bounds in the air outside the 15-yard line. That's down closer to the 20, so it is a penalty against Haggerty and the Argos.
And Haggerty has done such a terrific job with his placement all year, but this one's going to be costly.
Legal punt out of bounds, Toronto. 10-yard penalty from where it went out. First down, Montreal.
And a rare miscue for one of the top punters in the CFL. Some big plays in the first half especially, including the touchdown.
Yeah, this was what the fake hitch to Rambo. Speaker going over the top for the touchdown. And then showing he doesn't mind doing the dirty work there either.
Running play, Walter Fletcher has it, breaks a few tackles, and he gets it up close to a first down at the Montreal 40.
Yeah, Montreal maybe looking to give the Argos a taste of their own medicine here. Little double tight. You see the elusiveness of Walter Fletcher as he gets in behind the big bodies there.
You talk about Speaker, remembering the Grey Cup last year. Early second half, very quick drive. Austin Mack and then to Speaker with a touchdown. And of course the 3rd and 5 gamble with the game on the line to help set up the winning touchdown for the Alouettes against Winnipeg. Here's Fletcher again. Speaker, I mean, on the merit of that game alone, it'll never be forgotten by Alouette fans, I'm sure. That 3rd and 5 especially, a gutsy call when that was ball game right there.
Yeah, well, it speaks to the nature of this Montreal offense. That, you know, you look at last year where Austin Mack got a lot of the talk as their go-to receiver. But other guys had big games along the way, whether it was Julian Grant, Philpott, Sneed, Speaker. That was always the case, and this year it's been the same kind of thing. A number of different guys have been the guy who has 100 yards in a given game. Cole Speaker, very much one of those capable of being the go-to guy.
And there's the guy who was driving it all, too. What a year it was for Cody Fajardo and building on it this year. But after the way it ended in Saskatchewan the year before, he felt he had to prove himself in the biggest game of all, and did he ever? Made some great throws in that game. Grey Cup champion, and knocked away at the line of scrimmage. Coming in is Mark Milton, who's still looking up afterwards, seeing at the ball as defensive plays for the Argos.
A great defensive call at the right time. Watch Mark Milton, the halfback on the left side of your screen. He's coming on the blitz. Watch him get the head start. The scheme, aware that he's vacating a space and there's a good chance the ball's going there. So the awareness to get his hand up, make a play. Great defensive call at the right time. Great execution by Mark Milton.
2nd and 10. Alouettes at their 50. Down by 5. Pressure on Fajardo. They've got him. Coach 5 yards and the punting unit will have to come on.
Well, defense is picking it up a little bit here in the second half of this ball game. Derek Parrish, the bottom of your screen, right side, among those closing in on Cody Fajardo.
And this Falarna Rimolade getting there first.
Yeah, whole D-line holding a meeting at the Alouette QB.
For the team that has more sacks than any other in the CFL coming into this week at 36. Oh, a little reverse. McMahon tosses it back to Janarian Grant, who finds the edge, tried to tiptoe inbounds, but he just couldn't go any further that way. But little trick there by the Argos special teams as the 3rd quarter comes to an end, and it is
with your own perspective, your own point of view, and then what you can bring.
Your memories.
It's something that I would do 100 times over.
Quarters, the Alouettes in a rare position of trailing heading into the final 15, and the Argos just trying to hang on, needing the victory a lot more than Montreal does, but game did settle down a little bit in that latest 15 minutes.
Yeah, a little wild at times in the first half of this when the Argos running wild, Alouettes coming up with big plays in all 3 phases. Defenses, I think, figuring it out, adjusting a little bit in that 3rd quarter. I think the 4th is going to be fascinating because Montreal is a team that, as good as they have been this year, haven't been great when they've been chasing the game, when they've been playing from behind. They've been terrific. Part of their thing has been getting off to good starts. They did that in this game, but Toronto responded well and has been able to keep Montreal chasing it a little bit.
Not what the Alouettes have been used to be sure, coming in at 11-2-1. Their only losses, their first one was to the Argos in Montreal. They've also lost to BC and tied Calgary. There's Marc-Antoine Dequoy on the field with the Alouette defense. It's Toronto football to start this fourth quarter from their 30. Trying to protect a 5-point lead or add to it. It's Kevin Mittal, the Argo rookie receiver, with his first catch in this game, getting it up near the 50.
High percentage play, Kevin Mittal out of Laval. Talked about all the Canadians that started their college careers at Syracuse. A number of them transferring different places. Mittal, a Heck Crichton winner at Laval. I anticipate his role growing and growing in this offense down the stretch.
Picked up 19 yards, first down to the 49. Kelly going back and trying to complete it there to Coxie, right down at the sideline to the right and deep, but it's incomplete.
Yeah, Chad Kelly under pressure, just taking a shot on this one. Coxie sees his quarterback in trouble, starts heading down the sideline. You see the faith that Chad Kelly has in DeMonte Coxie in a jump ball situation to put that one up there.
Kelly under pressure. Tyrese Beverett coming in. Dishes it off to Bijan Brissett, who escapes the bunch and gets a first down. Sneaky. The Argos, when it looked like the Alouettes had Kelly wrapped up and down.
A little bit of a magic trick from Chad Kelly. Brissett right in front of him. Kelly basically hands it off to him.
Back at it quickly. It's Mackay Polk down inside the 45. Pretty resourceful by Kelly, and to Brissett to be on the same page there when Kelly was in trouble.
The shortest forward pass in CFL history.
Beverett was too preoccupied with getting Kelly down.
Oh, yeah, he was completely wrapped up. No one was accounting for Brissett.
Big baby Brissett in his first game back since week 3. Kelly chased out of the pocket. He'll take off. He'll have a first down too. He slides down closer towards the Alouette 30. Kevion Ento is there. And he's still sitting down and checking his right foot, right leg. And
yeah, seemed to be reacting like it was a cramp, looking like he's trying to stretch out his calf, and hopefully that's all it is.
So the training staff coming on to tend to Chad Kelly. We'll take a break and be back here at BMO.
Step into the action with CFL Game Zone. Play games, win prizes, and connect with fans from across the world. Join the ultimate CFL fan experience today at gamezone.cfl.ca.
Him to come out here and try and win the game. He's protecting the field position for Liram Hairolahu to come in and attempt
for 5. And we'll update that to 6 for 6. Liram the board for the Argos, who increased their lead to 8. Still a one-score game. Let's get an update on Chad Kelly from Matthew.
No big concern for Chad Kelly here on the Argos sidelines. Came off. The doctors did not look at him, but he was hydrating. Probably an indication of a cramp, but he seems to be pretty good with the iPad on the Argos sidelines right now.
Okay, Matthew.
Yeah, you can see Kelly stretching out that calf as soon as he went down, and actually heard him just bring out, I've got a cramp. So another pretty good indication that it's a cramp.
That'd be the best indication.
I think so, yeah.
So you're saying you think it's a cramp?
I'm thinking it might be a cramp.
Up at the 40 and a 1st and 10. After the 5 more for Fletcher. The Alouettes run the ball a little bit more in this second half and trailing now by 8. Still a 1-score game, but of the biggest variety.
For the Alouettes on that one, force a field goal is obviously it keeps this as a 1-possession game. We know the Alouettes go for that high percentage game, but pick their spots and going deep.
4-man rush, Fajardo. He completes it to Charleston Rambo, who backtracks a bit, but still has enough for the first down for the Alouettes, just across the 50.
And here's Charleston Rambo. Just working across the formation. Finds a little hole to sit down. Good effort after the catch to fight for that first down yardage. Injured Alouette in behind the play.
It's the left tackle, Nick Callender. So Jesse Gibbon in his 6th year at Waterloo will come on to replace Callender.
Former number 2 overall pick. Hometown team. And the adjustment here for Montreal, they'll move the right tackle, Josh Donovan, over to the left side into Callender's spot. Gibbon comes in at the right tackle spot.
Along with Philippe Gagnon and Justin Lawrence, who won a Grey Cup to center there, 54.
Wins Grey Cups everywhere he goes.
I say he won the Grey Cup. He came over from Calgary. He'd won with the Stampeders in 2018. He was the starting center in Toronto in 2022 and won the Grey Cup. And then, yes, went to the Alouettes and won the Cup again.
You want to be Justin Lawrence's teammate.
First and 10. Fajardo rolls out to the left. Throws it that way and completes it to Julian Grant. The Alouettes have something going now. 4th quarter. A little over 10 minutes to go. Down by 8 and into the Argos zone.
Well, try to split your attention here. Great block by Justin Lawrence, but also watch the fullback, Dallaire, who's going to motion across and go to the flat, but gets taken out by an Argo defender before he can get there. With him occupied, Fajardo's going to look a little deeper and makes the play.
First down quickly again. That's Tyler Snead with it as when McManus comes in to take a late punch at the football after Snead is down, and he has almost enough for another first down. The offensive coordinator Anthony Calvillo, and a Hall of Famer, the all-time leading passer in the history of the Canadian Football League.
Who's still AC playing quarterback the last time the Owls hosted an East Final, wasn't it?
It was right. The last time that Montreal hosted the East Final, they found out before this game they will indeed be hosting it in November. Dominic Davis just needs a couple of feet and gets it. Davis brought back initially after the injury to Cody Fajardo against the Argos back in week 6. And then, of course, Caleb Evans got hurt shortly after, so Davis used for short yardage. Brought back apparently out of retirement for spending last year with Nick Davis. His stops in Winnipeg and Ottawa as well. His second stop in Montreal. .40 and counting. 4th quarter. 31-23 Toronto. Fajardo. Oh, down inside the 10. Reggie White. A beautiful throw. Great catch. White, too, to get the Alouettes on the doorstep. First and goal coming up Montreal.
A Great throw from Cody Fajardo, again dropping it in behind one level into another. But love the play by Reggie White. Bear in mind, this is a guy who missed all of last year. He knows he's going to get blasted. Deshaun Amos has his sights on him as White goes airborne, fully exposed for this ball. Absolutely fearless play by Reggie White, making a play for his quarterback.
So the Alouettes down a touchdown in the fourth quarter and 2 yards away from getting it. Davis back in. Keeps it himself. Did not get there. Might have got half of it. It was at the 2. Let's see where they spot this ball.
Whole lot of big bodies colliding at the line of scrimmage. The Argos get the advantage in this one. Jake Serezna and others in the middle of that.
Big moment here for the Toronto Argonaut defense. They need 2 more stops if necessary for Montreal.
Timeout, Montreal.
As Jason Moss calls the timeout.
Yeah, critical play. Jason Moss wants to make sure they've got it right here. Like the Alouettes may have had a personnel issue there, that they were man short in their offensive huddle. Just figuring out.
Try this again, and Fajardo instead of Davis is back in at quarterback and running out of shotgun as well. 2nd and goal. The Argo 2 handing off. Walter Fletcher. Jake Serezna comes in, and the pile pushes him back. Still not in the end zone. 3rd down coming up. Serezna got things started coming in and getting a hold of Walter Fletcher.
Yeah, we talk so much about the presence that Jake Serezna is as a pass rusher from the interior of the defense, but let's not overlook back-to-back stuffs here at the goal line.
So down 8 points. The Alouettes have a 3rd and goal. Right near the Argo goal line. Now Davis is back in. They're back into short yardage mode to see if they can finally punch it in. Davis lunging forward, waiting for the call. Touchdown.
Yes. Yeah, it certainly looked like there was good forward movement from the Alouettes on that one initially, but it took the officials a little while to get this sorted out. We have a great look here from the Spider Cam. Gets in behind the left side. Justin Lawrence, left guard Pierre-Olivier Lestage, but you can see looking straight down on the goal line, he has clearly broken the plane with the ball.
Dominic Davis, who had 13 touchdowns with the Alouettes when he last played for Montreal in 2022 before he went to BC last year. This was his expertise, the former starting quarterback in the CFL with Ottawa. And gets the important touchdown there, and they need the 2-point conversion to tie the game again. So going for 2, 31-29. Fajardo quickly, and they get it. It's Tyler Sneed. The football, he was getting rid of it to Sneed, and we've got a tie again, 31-31. The Alouettes have clinched first, but don't tell them they've got nothing to play for. We got a close one here, trying to stay unbeaten on the road. With rain earlier.
And this all the way back. Ryan Hunter doing a nice job all by himself on the island, making his first start at left tackle. Gets things locked down, allowing Adeboboye to take it around the edge.
Gain of 26 yards and a first down for the Argos, who had a lead. Saw the Alouettes drive back and tie it. Now trying to move in front again, getting late. 4 minutes, 10 seconds. Oh, coming in. Good play there by Kabion Ento and David Unger just as the ball was arriving and knocks it loose. So 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah, Ento, another one of those guys who became a starter partway through last year. And you think about all the impactful plays we've seen him make over the course of the last season as a Montreal Alouette. This one's basically a race to the football as Unger is slanting to it. Ento coming downhill, able to get a piece of it and break up that play.
2nd and 10 at the Alouette 37. Kelly finds Coatsy. 30, turns back, keeps his feet. First down, doesn't want to go down. And finally, does get hauled out of bounds. Very good play by Coatsy and the Argonauts.
Well, we talked earlier in this ball game about the fact that for so many teams, it's playoff football for the last month of the season. The Argos certainly one of those teams. DeMonte Coatsy personifies that with his effort on this run.
It's finally Beverett among those grabbing the jersey and convincing him to finally go down. 1st and 10, Alouette 22 in this tie ball game. Argos threatening again. Handing off, Kadeem Carey. Dirty jersey and all. Helmet comes off again. Helmet off count. I'd say that's 4, is it not?
At least
4 times. And he can't signal a first down on that one, but he does pick up about 4 yards. And he heads off again. Helmet in hand.
Where the beating?
Argos equipment man Danny Webb working on getting that thing to stay on.
2nd and 6. Kelly quickly off to the right. It is caught. Daniels off his shoe tops. Makes the catch. Still not enough for a first down. He gets it inside the 15, but there's still a couple of yards shy.
There's something out of nothing here for Javaris Daniels, as this play looks like it was doomed at the line of scrimmage.
2nd straight week the Argos are in a game like this, back and forth. Remember the one against the Ticats last week that they had a field goal to move ahead, and that was with about a minute to go before Bo Levi Mitchell led the Ticats back for the game winner. We got a finish coming up. 3-minute warning is given.
Sutton right to the side of his unprotected face. Yeah, Kadeem Carey just says playoff time, whatever.
And he lost his helmet again after that, so gave it to Danny Webb. And maybe this time he'll be able to stay on. He's still all smiles and chatting on the sideline, waiting to get in for his turn again. Big 3rd and 3. The kicker, Liram Hairelahu, not sent on to give them the lead. So 3rd down. We're going to try this again. Well, we got a little finger pointing now. They're trying to draw the Alouettes off. Now a flag comes out. It's Dejon Allen who got up the right tackle and started pointing. But flags out and Kelly.
Procedure, Toronto number 59. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So again, doesn't work and pushes him back a little bit, but still a short one for Liram Hairelahu, who has a chance to go 7 for 7 and give the Argos the lead again. But as we talked about, we saw it last week against Hamilton. Final minutes up by 3. That doesn't guarantee anything right now in this league.
Well, you think about the number of late lead changes we've seen just in the last 2 weeks.
From 27 to go 7 for 7. Liram Hairelahu sees the Argos take the lead. Let's go back to Matthew.
Well, I just talked to Danny Webb, guys, as he was examining Kadeem Carey's helmet. Now, these helmets are custom fit to each player, scanned to their head before the season. 13 rushes for 90 yards. All the hard work Kadeem Carey's been putting in on the field, and we have seen it. Looks like Danny Webb was just trying to go ahead and clear it of all this sweat because Kadeem's working so hard it keeps slipping off. Let's see if that happens in the last 2:17, guys.
Thank you, Matthew. And if that doesn't work, maybe glue next time.
Yeah, they need Kadeem Carey if they're going to try and close this one out. Terrific, close football game here. You know, we saw the shot of DeMonte Coxey fighting down the sidelines. Kadeem Carey taking shots to the head with no helmet on. And I can't help but think about our discussion with Wynton McManus this week and the word he used, urgency.
Yeah.
Just a sense of urgency for the Argos that every play matters, every inch matters. You got to sacrifice whatever it takes, and they're demonstrating that for sure.
And Liram Hajrullahu has tied an Argo franchise record with 7 field goals. He's 7 for 7, accounting for 21 of their 34 points, and actually consider the points after 2 for Hajrullahu.
Yeah, good day for Liram. 7 field goals, and his Western Mustangs beat Queens at homecoming, right?
You just had to bring that up, eh? We went all this time late in the 4th quarter. Queens still having a good season, though, Dwayne. It's very competitive. OUA. Former Western Mustang, Liram Hajrullahu. That's taken by Letcher. And he gets taken down shy of the 35 for the Alouettes. Liram Hajrullahu, who kicked the game-winning field goal in the Grey Cup for the Argos back in 2017 against Calgary. He had earlier played for Winnipeg. He later went to Hamilton, kicked in the Grey Cup for the Ticats, went to the NFL after the 2019 Grey Cup, and just returned this season. And he's had some late dramatic field goals. We talked about that last week. It wasn't a walk-off, obviously. It was a late field goal to put them ahead for a time before Hamilton came back and won it. But he's had 2 other walk-off winners and a walk-off miss, if you will, with a rouge against Saskatchewan. There's Walter Fletcher. And coming in, Mark Milton taking him down, limiting the damage there.
Well, Mark Milton trying to put a claim on that boundary halfback spot that has seen a number of different players start for the Argos this season. A couple of big plays for him today. He started the season with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He was let go. The Argos brought him in. He's played a lot of special teams. Doing a great job here as a starter today.
4 receivers out to the left, 2 to the right. Fajardo quickly looking left. It's spot. It's Julian Grant. And 40. It'll be 3rd down and long coming up here for the Alouettes. Just another 3rd and 5 coming up for Jason Moss.
Exactly. I mean, you look at the clock, a minute 44 to go. Clock's running, you got to go for it here.
You looking for Cole Speaker this time?
Well, he's come up big a number of times in this ball game.
Fajardo, here it is, 3rd down, they bring the heat. And a deep shot and nobody home. Turnover on downs. Argos with a 3-point lead and less than a minute and a half in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, Argos loading it up close to the line of scrimmage. All of them. Eight guys, 8-man pressure means Cody's got to get the ball out of his hands in a hurry.
Let's go, let's go!
Talked about Cole Speaker as a potential go-to guy. He was forced to stay in and block because of the number of guys coming in.
Kelly falls as he hands off to Adeboboye. So Matthew talked about the footing here at BMO, which by our view from this vantage point is not as bad as it was last week against Hamilton, where players were sliding all over the place. And this is with rain coming today before the
Yeah, no, it has certainly been better combination of the efforts of the ground crew and probably a level of preparation by these two teams based on last week as well. But yeah, you can certainly see all the seeding that they had done when I was out on the field prior to the game.
If the Argos can hang on, they'd still be third in the East, but they'd be back to 4 points ahead of Hamilton, and they'd be just a point behind the Ottawa Red Blacks. Ottawa lost today in Saskatchewan to fall to 8-6-1. Still second in the East. The Alouettes have already wrapped up first in the East Division. Kelly throwing, caught. Mackay Pope still shy of a first down around the 31. So Lirim Hajrullahu on the third down with the 3-point lead, and still waiting to see what they're doing here. It is a 3rd and short.
We've seen the Argos a number of times in these 3rd and less than 5s try to draw the opponent offside. But the field goal team is heading out there.
So in the long history of the Toronto Argonauts Football Club, no kickers had 8 field goals in a game. Lance Chomick had 7 twice. Noel Prefontaine also had 7.
Justin Medlock as well on that list.
So 7 is the record. Hajrulahu's tied it. He can stand alone in Argo franchise history if he can go 8 for 8 on this 3rd down, and more importantly for Toronto, just a few more points, a little more comfort. Please force the out, and through it goes. What 8 for 8 new franchise record for field goals made in a game.
This is why the Toronto Argonauts went out and got this guy as a free agent when he let it be known he was ready to return to the Canadian Football League after exploring his NFL opportunities for a couple of years.
I would assume his biggest Argo moment anyway would remain the 2017 Grey Cup winning field goal. But he, in his first year back in the CFL, has had a lot of clutch kicks for the Argos and a lot of big moments too, as he gives the cleats one more little clean before heading back on. And they will kick off under a minute to go and a 37-31 lead.
Yeah, not bad for a guy who's undrafted in 2013, signs as a free agent after completing his 5th and final year at Western.
Trying to hang on in the final 49. The Alouettes need a touchdown now. There's a guy who could get it for them, too. Here he goes again. James Letcher had a touchdown earlier in this game and gets that one up around the 40-yard line.
The late flag is going to give Montreal a chunk more in terms of field position here. Unnecessary roughness behind the play.
If the Argos can hang on.
15-yard misconduct foul against Toronto number 90. Went out 15 yards from where the ball went dead, first down.
Flagging Teodric Hansen, that penalty off the kickoff.
Yeah, you see Hansen tied up there with Terrell Richards, 2 of them in a wrestling match, but it's after this.
Has a little chat from special teams coordinator Mickey Donovan about that. It's up in midfield now for Fajardo and the Alouettes. 40 seconds on the clock. Off to the right, it's incomplete, intended for Julian Grant. Right by Matthew Shinetti. That's a perfect.
Got away from Cody a little bit. Just came off his left hand, fighting his way back towards the line of scrimmage to try to get to the ball.
The Alouettes have not lost a road game this year. It's a streak that goes back to September the 9th, 2023 here at BMO Field, the last time they lost on the road.